You know that one whiteboard you have in the corner of your room that has your goals on it that every guy has, but you think you're unique because you have that all your goals listed out? Imagine actually crossing off those goals like the 1% of people that actually do. Imagine going to bed at night not wondering, oh man, you know what? I was so unproductive. I wasted so much time. I promise by the end of this video, you'll have a solid plan on how to get your shit together so you can unfuck whatever life situation you're in right now, no matter how bad it is, bro. And you might be thinking, listen, you random weird dude from the internet with a nice beard, I'm not gonna get the answer to unfuck my life situation in a 10-minute YouTube video. This is gonna take months, if not years, to get my shit together. You don't necessarily need to have a certain amount of your bank account or to look a certain way in the mirror. You don't need to be perfect in order to feel like your life is together. As long as you're making consistent daily actions, no matter how small it may seem, no matter how small your goal is, even if it's just to lose 10 pounds, if you wake up and for the past week you've been consistent and tracking your calories and stepping on the scale and making progress, dude, that progress feels good. You feel like your life is on track. All the 5 steps in this video go together really well, so if you skip around, you might not get the full value out of it, and you might skip a lesson that might take you years and countless amounts of money to try and fix that I just mentioned in this YouTube video. All right, step number 1. Imagine one of your friends. Imagine one of your best friends right now. His name could be Tristan or Jared or Kevin or Daniel or whoever he is, right? Imagine he comes up to you and his dumbass tells you, dude, I'm gonna save $500 every single month. And you're like, okay, that's dope, man. That sounds like a great goal. So you're gonna print out your bank statements and you're gonna track your income and expenses and put them into a budget to see how much is coming out every single month. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna do it in my head. And you're like, that sounds pretty stupid. So you have no idea how much is coming into your bank account. You have no idea how much is going out because you haven't printed or looked at any of the numbers, but somehow you're just gonna automatically save $500 at the end of every month. And he's like, yeah, that sounds about right. You look at him like he was stupid. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But for you, when it comes to fixing your life situation and getting your shit together, you somehow think all these problems in your head, oh yeah, I'll just get to them eventually. I'm not gonna look at them on a piece of paper. With all due love and respect, man, I'm here to tell you that you're a dumbass. Jordan Peterson mentions that if you want to think clearly, you need to write. So step number 1 is to write. Write down all your problems that are bugging you right now, no matter if it seems small or big. For example, I'm in $2,000 in credit card debt, or I don't have a savings account, or I don't know what I'm doing with my life, or I miss my ex, Brittany, baby, just come back, or I want a girlfriend, or my friends aren't the best friends I've ever had in my life. Sometimes they're a little bit unsupportive. I don't think they're really there for me, or I hate my job. Whatever it is, step 1, write it down on a piece of paper. Step number 2, Marcus Aurelius said you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That was my real voice. That was definitely my real voice. I talk like that all the time. So next, I want you to be a stoic. So separate these items into things you can control and things you cannot control. You being in shape is very much 100% in your control. This whole society, oh, fat phobia, you stop being fat phobic. Oh, it's not your fault that you're fat. Obesity is genetic, and all these fast food companies, man, how dare the government let them? It's not your fault. Shut the fuck up, bro. It is 100% your fault. If you're fat, 100% your fault. My family, most of them are overweight. Society, if you look around, a lot of people are unhealthy and fat. I got myself into shape because I dedicate myself to the goal. It is 100% in your control. So for example, what's not in your control is people being rude to you. You have rude coworkers. You have unhealthy roommates that make it a little bit harder to stick to your diet. Or, you know, your family never taught you money skills. Or you might have loud neighbors that have kids that really keep you up during certain times of your work. Some of these things, yeah, you could say, oh, I could talk to them, try to fix the situation, but most of them you can't control. And it's good that we get all these problems out onto a list, even though we can't control them, so you can finally see them on a piece of paper and see, damn, man, I really can't do much about these, so I'm not gonna spend most time worrying about them because I can't do shit about them. And now we're gonna focus on all the problems that we can control. Step number 3. In the summer of 2019, it was the first time I ever thought about killing myself. I was a young 19-year-old kid with ambitious dreams to retire my parents one day, and I had this idea of my future and what I wanted to look like, and I knew that these bad habits like pornography and social media and all these other modern addictions and junk food, they were holding me back from achieving this life that I wanted. I knew that if I didn't get rid of these habits and start doing the better habits, I would eventually have to see my parents, my mother, get wrinkles and grow into her old age and still work a physical labor job. And she already complains about arthritis. I would see her coming back home. She's like, oh, son, Ali John, my hands hurt. So eventually one day I was like, fuck that, bro. I'm not having that. And I finally made the big decision that I was ready. So I hopped in my car, drove down the highway at 65 miles per hour, rolled the window down in my 2004 Nissan Maxima, and I felt the wind just gushing through my hair. And I was like, dude, this is the big fucking moment where everything changes. I told myself, dude, I am done. And I grabbed my vape and my dab pen and I clenched it as hard as I fucking could with a bone breaking grip. And I was like, dude, I am done. And I threw it out out the window as hard as I could. I felt so good about my life, man. After that, I drove back home and I was like, dude, I'm making this life change. I'm motivated. And my life is finally trending upwards. I'm getting my shit together. And I felt amazing for about a week. Because then the withdrawal symptoms of the nicotine and the weed started hitting me like a truck, and I was in agonizing pain. I had these like sharp headaches, my head would just hurt, it was craving, it was itching for these drugs, and the only way to make the pain go away, I knew, was to either just wait it out and suffer through the pain, or to go back to using the bad habits, and that was just not an option for me at this point. So sometimes I literally lied in bed all day because everything, just doing anything was impossible. I just wanted to put my head into a pillow and scream it. And for a poor 19-year-old kid, I couldn't go talk to my parents about this. I didn't have an older brother. My friends at that time, they weren't trying to quit it, so it's like I had no one to relate to. I felt lost and I felt hopeless, and this whole idea of getting my life together felt like an impossible task. I was like, dude, go to college, start a business, do homework. I could barely get myself out of bed. Like, dude, how am I supposed to retire my parents at this point? And that's when I came across this simple advice of, hey, just make your bed. At first I was like, dude, my bed, why does that matter? If my bed is unmade or made, my life is still shit. That's not gonna change anything. But then as I started doing it, I realized it's not about making the bed. It doesn't matter if the bed's unmade or made. It's just a small discipline. It's that small win, and it's part of step number 3 in this video, which says pick the lowest hanging fruit. If I told you, dude, hey, we need a bunch of fruit from that tree over there, I need you to bring it as soon as possible, you wouldn't try to climb to the top and get the top ones. You'd pick the lowest hanging fruit because those are easy. You'd satisfy the immediate urges, and then you start working your way up to the top. You got a big task in front of you, bro. To get in shape, to get your money right, it's gonna take a while, and you definitely need to delay your gratification. But what we can do is build up some confidence by knocking out the lowest hanging fruit. All right, and trust me, this is not the stuff that you're gonna want to hear. You're gonna be like, dude, this is so unimportant. But trust me, when you do your laundry, when you take a nice hot shower that you haven't done in a super long time, when you go to the sauna, when you get a good workout in for that day, when you start trimming your nails and you actually start taking care of yourself, you put deodorant on, you put cologne on, you wash all your dirty bed sheets, and you clean your room, and you organize everything in your room to be like perfect. You know, all the files that we're talking about, your trash, everything, just everything in your environment, your car, whatever's messy, whatever's unorganized, get that shit together. And this might take 1 or 2 days, but trust me, when you get in your car and it's clean, when you walk into your room and everything's organized, everything's where it's supposed to be, you feel a lot better, you feel a lot confident. That's what we're doing right now, is stacking up the small wins. Step number 4. So we've done all that. Now we want to categorize. We want to categorize all your problems that you listed out into work, health, relationships. And if we don't have any categories for some of the problems that you might have, you just put it into life/other. So for example, we'd ask ourselves, what problems do we have relating to money or work? Well, I mentioned I don't have a savings account and I'm $2,000 in credit card debt. That's money right there. For health, hey man, I just don't look that good. I'm not in shape and my skin has a bunch of acne on it. Okay, we'll categorize that into health. For relationships, okay man, I want a girlfriend. My friends aren't the most supportive friend group. I wish I had some new friends. Cool, put that in relationships. And for life/other, we could say, hey man, I don't really have like a weekly calendar. I don't calendar anything. I don't have a to-do list. And I just, overall, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. So we categorize that into life/other. All right, step 5 is crucial because this is going to differentiate from the people that actually want to change their life and from the people that are kind of just wish-washy about it. Everyone wants a Ferrari, bro. Everyone wants a big house, but who's willing to put in the work for it? It doesn't make you unique when you say, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna do real estate one day. You have no idea how many people I meet on a daily basis that they're like, oh dude, I'm gonna do this thing one day. I'm gonna do this thing. Oh yeah, I'm making this. I'm gonna make this much money with this type of thing. Dude, no one fucking cares, bro. Everyone has a plan in their heads. Who actually has a strategic plan written out on paper and is working every single day towards that? Not a lot. A goal without a plan is a dream, and it's gonna stay right there in your imagination, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So step number 5 is asking yourself, okay, how do I fix these problems that I mentioned out? What are my big goals? And how can I break these into small, manageable daily tasks that I can stay consistent with? For example, if you have a problem that is, I don't know what I'm doing in my life, well, is that gonna hit you like someday when you're just walking, or when you're just playing video games and smoking weed and not doing much with your life? You think that's just gonna hit you, that answer, oh my god, this is what I'm gonna do in my life? Or do you think that's gonna come from intentional action? Intentional action, right? So how can you plan to figure that out? Well, what worked for me is by spending a lot of alone time, going on walks with no stimulation, no music, no headphones, whatever, just going on long hikes by myself and asking myself these deep questions like, hey man, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do then? And eventually it came to the answer that, dude, if I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't do e-commerce, I wouldn't do day trading. This stuff's boring to me because I wouldn't need to do that. I have all the money. So I'd probably just start a YouTube channel and I'd probably just start speaking into a camera. And that's what I started doing. And if you're just new to personal development and self-improvement, that answer you get is not going to be the core answer. Just like Jay Shetty mentions in his book, To Think Like a Monk, your deep core purpose is like right here. And you can't get to that on the first try, right? You got a small, low, deep core purpose. You see that? Okay. And then you have layers of purpose outside that get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger. And what we have to do is knock out the superficial layers of purpose. And then eventually through time, we're going to get to that deep core purpose that we have. So how you do that is just asking yourself what you're interested in. Like, hey man, I'm really interested in helping people out. Okay, what can I do? Well, I don't like food service. I don't like working at Chipotle and Cheesecake Factory. So let me try being an EMT because I want to help people out in the medical field. Let's try that out. And you try that out, you stick to it for about 6 months. And you're like, I like this, but I can't get rich off this. So let me start a car wash business because I can help people out kinda, but I can also be rich. And you start that out and you're like, dude, but I want to work for my laptop. I like business, but I want to work for my laptop. And you keep asking yourself, dude, I like these aspects of this current thing that I'm doing, but I don't like these. What has all of these aspects that I do want? And you eventually find that deep core thing, or at least somewhere close to where you're like, dude, that sounds dope. So once you get your final answer, which could be, I want to be a chef and own my own restaurant, have my own recipes. Let's do that. So you have to break that down as small, manageable daily tasks. So it starts with being a chef, have my own restaurant. Okay, break that down. How do I get there? You can either go backwards or forwards. Well, first I'd have to be a chef, right? So I'd have to save enough money to go to culinary school, apply to culinary school, get accepted. I'd have to pack my bags and move to culinary school, go through the classes, graduate, get hired at a restaurant, spend some years there really working on my chef abilities. And then I have to open my own restaurant. And you break them down into goals, right? And then that first goal, okay, save money for culinary school. Let's break that down. You ask yourself, okay, how much do I need? $15,000? Cool. I have no dollars right now. So how can I save towards that? Well, I could do that by saving $100, maybe $200 every single paycheck. And you see how we've broken this big goal down of being a chef of my own restaurant to save $200 per paycheck. Because if we just have this lofty goal, it's just going to exist out there and we're not taking any actions towards that. All right, man. So here's some bonus tips that really help me get my shit together. I can really help you out. Stop wandering around your life like a drifter. Actually, when you tell yourself you're going to do something, get to it, bro. Stop watching these self-improvement videos and doing these self-improvement masturbation where you're like, dude, I'm so on self-improvement and I'm reading the book Think and Grow Rich and The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck and Atomic Habits. Bro, everyone's reading that book. Everyone's heard of those books, bro. That doesn't make you special. If I told you, hey man, imagine your little brother, little sibling comes across, or if you don't have one, imagine a 10-year-old comes across and I tell you, hey man, explain all the concepts in the book Atomic Habits to this 10-year-old and tell him how he can apply it in his own life. You look at him and not be able to say anything because you have no idea what you've learned from the book. You're just kind of listening to audiobook and you're not taking notes during and you're not pondering upon it after and you're not taking any action. You know, all the little like action steps that I mentioned in the book, you're not taking any of them. So stop telling yourself you're on self-improvement. You want to be on self-improvement. You're what they call a watchpreneur. You want to start a business. You like the idea of starting a business and being an entrepreneur, not actually doing it. How you actually start to do it is you set small, consistent action. And I know it feels so fucking hard in the beginning, bro, because you're so far from your goal, right? You're like, dude, I want to be shredded. I want to be jacked, or I want to be making 10K per month. And it seems like, dude, even if I work as hard as possible today, that feels like so much work. And even if I do that for a month, you're like, dude, I gotta do this for 2 years. That feels like forever. And yeah, of course it's hard. Of course it's hard. But imagine that hard feeling that you have that like, dude, that seems impossible. That's the thought, that's the limiting belief that stops a lot of people. And you kind of have to be happy about that, because if it was easy, then everyone would do it, right? But that fact that it's hard, that point that you get to that you're like, dude, I just want to stop. I don't want to keep going. Guess what? Other people have got to that point and they've also quit. But the difference is the winners. Do you think the winners never had to deal with that? Do you think the millionaires and billionaires never had to deal with that? Their life was just boom, perfect? No, they probably got to that exact point where they're like, fuck, dude, this is so hard. But they just decided, dude, I'm not going to quit, because everyone quits. I got to this point where I'm like watching the day trading charts and I see the candlesticks and I'm like, fuck, dude, my head hurts. Or they start a YouTube channel and they're like, bro, I got no views. Might as well just stop. It's not worth it. The losers, the 90%, the 95% choose to quit, but the 5% choose juice to keep going, even though it feels like complete shit and it feels like, dude, I'm not making any real progress. In the journey of anything that you have that's leading towards a big goal, in the beginning, it's called invisible progress. And invisible progress is like a piñata. Imagine everyone's in this piñata. Boom, big guys coming, big dudes coming over. Boom, hitting the piñata, it doesn't break. Another big guy comes, boom, hitting the piñata, it doesn't break. And 50, 100 guys come over and they keep hitting the piñata and it doesn't break. Do you think there's no progress being made? Do you think it's nothing's happening? No, nothing's happening on the outside. You can't see any wear or tear, but you do know that eventually these hits of the piñata will eventually get to a point where it breaks. And eventually at the party, the little 4-year-old girl whose birthday party it is, she grabs the bat and with all her 4-year-old might, she just comes over, taps it lightly, and the entire piñata breaks and all the candy comes out. And that's a metaphor for the success that you're gonna have. And everyone's gonna call you, dude, you're an overnight success, bro. Your video just blew up. Motherfucker, do you not see the 2 years of work I put into my YouTube channel? You're gonna tell me that it was this one overnight success that blew up my channel? It wasn't. It was the 2 years of compound work. It was the 100 hits on the piñata that felt like no progress was being made, but it was. It was just internal. You can't see it on the outside, and that's exactly what's going on with your self-improvement. These failures that you're making, that day 2, day 3 that you get to in NoFap, and then you reset your progress, and then you get to day 5 and reset your progress, that ability that you're able to stick to your diet for a week, but then relapse, 2 weeks, and then relapse. These are all internal measures of progress being made, and you just have to keep compounding this no matter how small it may seem, and you eventually get to your goal. Your self-improvement journey is not going to be like a straight line up where, dude, I start self-improvement and boom, I just skyrocket up. You're going to go up, you're going to fall down a little bit. You're going to go up, fall down, go up, fall down. But if you look at the trajectory over months, over years, it is upward. If you want to unfuck your life situation, bro, I've been here before. I've been so lost and hopeless. Like I told you, I was addicted to weed and vaping, and I felt like I was so far from my goals. And dude, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not in the best shape I could possibly be in. I'm working towards those things, but I've made a lot of fucking progress, and I can remember just feeling like it would never happen. And I don't have any smart motivational things to tell you right now, bro. I used them all up in this YouTube video, but what I can say is the most important thing you have to have in yourself is faith and belief. And I know you've heard this a million times before, but without faith, without belief, it's not going to be possible, because you're not even going to try. If you don't think that you can make yourself into a more attractive human being, you can make more money, you can start a YouTube channel, if you don't think you could do any of these things, it's not going to happen, because you're going to get to a point in your self-improvement journey where the cravings, the impulses, and the bad things that you want to do that are going to reset your progress, they're so powerful. If you don't have a strong why, and if you don't believe in yourself, you're just going to give into them, because you're going to be like, dude, there's no point, because it's not going to happen anyway. But if you have faith, if you know it's going to work out, they say a man with a strong why can bear any how. If you have faith in yourself, you're going to decide, no, I know it's fucking possible, bro, so I'm gonna keep pushing through. Trust me when I say this, bro, I'm gonna be a millionaire one day. I'm gonna be jacked, I'm gonna be shredded, I'm gonna have a beautiful wife, and I'm gonna be leading millions of people towards self-improvement. I envision that. I know it's gonna happen. Just you fucking wait. Ambitious Ali, I'm out of here, baby. Bada bing, bada boom. Baby on baby on baby.